little bit of fatherly advice, since if you've got a couple kids, maybe they're younger, who knows. Any fatherly advice? Oh gosh. Well, I've had enough to screw it up pretty good. I find myself apologizing to the adult children that I did it so wrong. I also excuse myself, saying if I didn't mess you up a little bit, then you didn't have a normal life. But the reality is, in all truth and all sincerity, find a way to remember how wonderful they are when they get to be teenagers, or when they get in a place where they reject you.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Monday, July 15th, 2024. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. We've been spending a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, looking into all of the activities of Kody and Robyn's oldest daughters, because obviously with the way that they raise their kids and how incredibly sheltered they are and how they haven't been allowed to move out, and they're very much under the control of Kody and Robyn still, despite being literal adults. I think Brianna is 21 and Aurora is 22 at this point. And their Pinterests seem to be a mix of concerning posts about their emotional well-being mixed in with strange posts about God and the spiritual attacks that they're facing. And Aurora is heavily focused on the fact that she doesn't have someone to love. She's waiting for her partner, her person. And Brianna recently made a couple posts and created an entirely new board that made me really scratch my head, because it's all about raising children and what she needs to learn about raising children, which made me wonder, why is a girl that is seemingly not pregnant, apparently, I mean, we don't know, not in a relationship, why would she be posting about why she needs to learn about parenting? And the parenting posts are very strange. And one of them is actually, it's almost like everything she wants to learn about parenting is opposite of the way that Kody and Robyn have raised her. It's quite odd. There's been a lot of rumors that Aurora Brown was spotted with wedding dress shopping, but it's been debunked now by McKelty that Aurora is not getting married. She's not engaged. She's not with anyone. And if you go to Aurora's Pinterest, it's clear that she doesn't have someone and she wants someone. But when I was looking at Aurora's recent pins, she created an entire board called To Learn, okay? And it has 4 total pins, and they are literally all about motherhood. Very first one pinned is interesting. It says, kids are not responsible for caring for siblings, being emotional supports for parents, finding money to pay bills, creating rules, structure, and order because the adults can't or won't, taking care of their parents emotionally, managing fights between parents, protecting themselves from adults, and figuring things out on their own. When I saw that, I was like, wow, managing fights between parents, finding money to pay the bills, caring for their siblings, it's like everything that they've had to do. The kids have been used to make money for the family. It's almost like she wants to do exactly the opposite of what her mom did. She's 100% had to be an emotional support to her mom. She's 100% had to manage the fighting between her parents, I'm sure. She's 100% had to protect herself, likely from other people in her family. It was an interesting post to me because I was like, it's almost like she wants to do every single thing different from Kody and Robyn. I don't think it goes without saying that when any parent chooses to go onto a reality show and they decide to make their children content for a show, they are relying on their kids to pay their bills. And that's a very unfair position for any parent to put their child in. And it also is an unfair dynamic because not only are they working for the parent so that they can make money, they're not making the money themselves. Like, the money's not going to them. So Kody's relying on the girls to show up, to make money for him, to do what he wants her to do. But then at the end of the day, she gets no money from it other than, the home that they live in and the life that they have. But if she were to move out, all of that would go away. No child should ever be forced or exploited in this way. And TLC contracts very clearly hold parents responsible for their children to be on time, show up for filming under contracts they have to do, and be committed to the contract. I mean, when they sign the contracts for the kids, they're basically saying, like, if your child cannot complete this, you're on the hook for $500,000 or whatever the fine is for breach of contract. So imagine your child, you're signing your child's rights away to a network, and then the network says, well, if you don't show up, your parents are going to get sued. And then what? So you have to show up. It's not like you can't even not show up. You have to. So something else from that same board said this: if your child meets your empathy with more anger, stop talking. Usually when humans who are upset really feel misunderstood, they start to cry. But sometimes those feelings are unbearable and they verbally attack the empathizer. In that case, just stop talking and feel all that pain. It will show on your face. Take a deep breath. You don't have to say anything to communicate your empathy. Who says that she's the most empathetic person? Robyn. So it's like she's going to be the opposite of her mom. And then this one, how to raise a body positive kid. Instead of commenting on appearance, negative comments on your own body, exercising for appearance, focusing on weight, or commenting on someone else's body size or shape, try commenting on talents, positive comments about qualities and abilities, exercise for enjoyment, focus on health and wellness, and comment on someone else's talents, kindness, and personality. The body images of these girls and of Robyn is always been an issue, and Robyn has shamed the other women for their body shapes, and she has weight shamed Janelle so many different times, pointed out that she's the thinnest one. I can't imagine that any of that would not impact the daughters. And then the other one from the same board is sleep with your children, hug each other while you can under the covers. Do not be afraid of that addiction. Children are small only once, and then when they grow up, they will find their own way in their spaces. Sleep heart against heart, so much so that you feel their breath, because it's nothing more beautiful than this. Enjoy their childhood and their company. Love them as if the world were going to end today, because tomorrow they will have grown up and you will think that you lack time to hug them. So these posts are all from a board titled To Learn, and it's all related to raising children and parenting. And it's a weird thing to think about, because yes, if you become a parent in the future, like if you're pregnant, these might be things that you're having to think about. If you are planning to get pregnant, you might need to start thinking about parenting. But to start thinking about this before you're pregnant, before you're a parent, before you become a parent, it almost feels like one of two things. Either she's pregnant, which I don't know that she is, or the only thing that she thinks she's good for is parenting, mothering. And it also feels like she needs to learn about parenting because she didn't maybe have her own guide as, from parents. There's only so much you can do to teach yourself to become a parent, and then your tuition just kicks in. But this girl focusing so much energy on her future, her love, she has a whole board about like her future spouse. It's all very odd to me. And it's sad because it's reducing her to motherhood and wife, right? And then her most recent post was a pin that said to read later, and it says, keep my anger from becoming meanness. Keep my sorrow from collapsing into self-pity. Keep my heart soft enough to keep breaking. Keep my anger turned towards justice, not cruelty. Remind me that all of this, every bit of it, is for love. Keep me fiercely kind. Anger, keep me kind, pray for my anger. Another thing that she recently posted was having no sources of intimacy in your daily life and therefore resorting to learning as much as you can as a way to pass the time is a sad cycle. Every single day it's like what can I become obsessively interested in this time to vaguely simulate companionship and a temporary sense of purpose that I know will eventually make me feel even more alone, because even if I find meaning and enjoyment, it is completely irrelevant and isolated from everyone and everything else. And that she recently posted. So is she posting all this stuff about motherhood and potentially finding a mate and getting married and all these different things because she's passing the time because she feels isolated and doesn't have any source of intimacy in her daily life? And that regardless of doing all of these things, she still feels isolated and irrelevant to everyone and everything. These kids are so isolated that is she resorting to learning about parenting because she has nothing else to do because her parents are like suffocating her? I can't imagine what it would be like to be the children of Robyn Brown, because I have a lot of empathy for them because I feel like their lives were upended when Robyn decided that they were going to remove the rights of their father. They took away and stole the relationship between daughters and dad. They stole an entire family from the kids. And the kids were too young to understand what this all meant. They just wanted to be Kody's kid and have the same last name, not really thinking about the ramifications of what it means to cut off someone completely, and maybe not anticipating that they would lose their dad completely. Their dad would still, I'm sure, want to see them if he could. So in order to keep them away from discovering anything about their dad, it's like Robyn has suffocated them so badly and isolated them so much so that they can't find out anything and they can't get access to him and they can't learn about the truth of whatever happened. Robyn could, I'm not a psychologist, but maybe she has a fear of abandonment herself and she feels like the only thing she can control are her kids, and so she's going to keep her kids as children for as long as possible so that she can keep Kody interested and so that she doesn't have people leave her. I don't know. But at some point, you have to let your kids grow up and leave the nest as long as they're able to and capable. As long as their child has the ability to take care of themselves and move on and have a life on their own, they should be allowed to leave. The only way a child should be staying with a family is if they have some form of a disability that would require a parent to take care of their child into adulthood. But none of her children, Dayton has autism, so that's one aspect that's a little bit different, but the girls are neurotypical and they don't have any needs where they shouldn't be living on their own at this point. So it's just really sad, to be honest. So is she doing this because she's so isolated and so alone, or is she pregnant? I don't know. What are your thoughts? Make sure to leave some comments. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed. Give this video a thumbs up if you like this kind of content, and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye, guys.